Good day, everyone. Welcome back to the one-to-one series. I'm joined today by BNP Paribas Yachting and Aviation Director Olivier Blanchet. Olivier, how are you?
Fine, and yourself?
I'm good, thanks, Olivier. Welcome to our little virtual world. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your time. Olivier, the purpose of this call is we call it Banking on Our Future. And there's two reasons for that title. One is obviously the world of finance and how it affects our market, but also our future from a, let's say, technical and sustainability topic as well, which is another thing that's very key to BNP's world. So let's focus in on the world of finance. Obviously, we've had an incredible impact on the world's bank balance in the last 12 months, huge debt piles across the world, but our market seems to be doing very, very well. What's your prognosis?
Well, that's for sure that we have been, and all of us have been hit by the COVID-19. But I must say that the banking sector play its roles in order to support all the industries. Just to give you a few examples, on the BNP Paribas side, for example, the bank has been able to issue more than $72 billion of COVID-19 bonds in order to respond to the needs of the world sectors, the world industries, but also supported by the central banks, who help a lot in order to inject some huge liquidity into the industries. And funny enough, we have also noticed that the bankruptcy rates during the last year has been lower than 2019, for example. Having said that, I tend to believe that we will have some maybe negative consequences in terms of bankruptcies, especially during this year, if we not recover fast after the vaccine campaign. Because if you consider some specific sectors such as aircraft, such as also the restaurants, the tourism, clearly these sectors are definitively at risk these days. Which is, and obviously, I'm sure that you are also concerned. All the marketing and events sector is definitively, as the advertising sector all these sectors are definitively hit. So yes, that's the negative part of the situation. But let's try to be a bit also optimist for the future. One of the things that we need to think about it is the fact that this COVID-19 situation accelerates all the communication technology, the digital world, and definitively all the companies, the sectors try to find some new ways to work and to adapt their business model. And there are also some winners if you consider all the GAFA, the Amazon, the Google. So it has been also an opportunity for them to develop their growth. And I tend to believe that for run the circle with the Superyacht sector, some people also discover that the yachts can be a safe haven for spending nice time with your family, and rediscover the need of privacy as well. And also this is something that we have noticed into the market during the previous year.
Yeah, no, I think it's very evident that let's say this bubble we're seeing now with the activity we've got is growing and growing and growing, because I think what I see is the potential number of people that we haven't really capitalized on are starting to wake up to yachting, or wake up to living again, and not being so obsessed with this wealth creation, but more about actually enjoying life. Is that a fair comment?
It is a fair comment. It is a fair comment. I would say the key challenge is to see how you you join the yacht, because you have to, in any case, to take a flight in order to join the yacht, which remains still a challenge. But I have to say that there some people discover or rediscover that they can enjoy much more their life in a privacy on a yacht. And I have in mind some things that it has been wrote by the writer of Into the Wild.
Yes.
So he says one day, the joy of life comes from our encounters with new experience.
Yes.
And there is no greater joy than to have an endlessly changing horizon for each day, and to have a new different sunshine or sunset. And definitively, the superyacht life offer you this type of things. And especially when you have stayed at home during 1 year, 1.5 years, you need some freedom. You need some free areas. And and a yacht can offer you on a very short time frame, I would say.
Yeah, I think the endless horizons is probably something we need to focus on, because ultimately we've got this situation where typically the yachts are used in very, very sort of traditional cycles, but actually, as you mentioned about technology improving and being accelerated, we're probably going to see more people spend more time on yachts because of that accessibility and flexibility.
That's a quite interesting point. It could be part of maybe one of the objective of the whole superyacht industry is the occupancy rate.
Yes.
If you consider the occupancy rate of this asset, the occupancy rate should be something around 10-12% a year, something like this. Let's say 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 12 weeks a year.
Yeah.
And the industry needs to develop new business model or a new way to use this asset. Again, in order to also to support the image of the superyacht industry, because you can imagine that it's the yacht industry, the superyacht industry will be considered differently if we are able to explain that the occupancy rate of this asset is something around 50, 60, 70% a year. That is to say that publicly, the image also of the yacht will be slightly different, because it will not be some sleeping money on the seas.
Yes.
And useless money sleeping on the seas. It will work for a wider public, if I may say so.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point from a banking perspective. That to make an asset work is part of the whole strategy behind banking, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it is. It is. But don't make me wrong. It is very well known for everybody that it's very difficult to make money with a yacht. That's not the purpose, the initial purpose of a yacht. The initial and the money is not the objective.
Oh, sure.
That's for sure. What you are looking for is to have fun, to develop your passion. It's a real personal pleasure that you want to offer you with your money.
Yeah.
And the return is not the money. The return is the happiness.
Yeah.
You can enjoy on board. And that's also something maybe I would like to mention here is now there also something new for the future. Is happiness is one thing, as I mentioned, with the new horizons and the new sunset and sunrise.
Yeah.
for having fun and pleasure and privacy on board. But by buying yachts now, especially with the new generation, you need to put a meaning of your purchase. What will be the meaning of your purchase? That's also very important. And this is something that definitively the industry has to take into account for the future. And if I may a point here, from a banking perspective, it is very, very an important point. Usually I have some issues to mention some figures, because with the figures you can say everything. But for me, the most important thing is the relative figures. Look, if you take into consideration the growth of the people able to buy yachts, who afford a yacht, the ultra net worth individuals on this planet increased by 20% in the US during the last 4 years, sorry, and in the US, and in Asia it increased by 200%.
Yep.
Okay, and if you look at the growth of the number of yachts or super yachts on the seas delivered during the last 5 years, it increased by 4%, 4.5%, something like this.
Yes.
What does it mean? That means that the number of ultra net worth individual having a yacht decrease year after year. Yep. So that's the key point of this industry. Why? Because the new generation are not interested in the ownership. The new generation, first of all, they are interested in the experience. So that's the business model of Uber. That's the business model of all the Airbnb and so on and so forth. That's one thing. And the second thing, they are looking for meaning. So what does it mean to buy a yacht? What does it mean to charter a yacht? Are you considered as some people to have a negative impact on the environment, or would you like to have a positive impact on the environment? That's one of the point, and that is also a challenge for the industry in terms of image.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Olivier. And we've talked about this several times over the years, that the potential versus the actual number of clients we've converted is still very, very, very tiny. It's a tiny penetration of the market. And I feel what's another topic that's worth exploring is the amount of capital required that you tie up for your 10%, 12% use per annum. And the OPEX is also incredibly high for that usage equation. So the market almost has to rethink the financials of ownership. And in some ways, going back to your point about purpose or the meaning of ownership, we've had over the years several clients who bought yachts and invested in technology, in smart ideas, smart solutions, and things like that. Rather than just buying a very expensive toy for fun, they've taken on the challenge of doing something cool with the boat. And I think that's something else we don't necessarily present as part of our future proposition well enough. But it's very interesting, the topic of sustainability. It's become a very big sort of phrase in everyone's language today in the yachting space. Does it concern you, the word greenwashing, though?
Yeah, that's a very interesting topic, because the point is the following. There are greenwashing everywhere, and it's not because you give a few $1,000s to a charity that you can pollute. It's not because you offset your uh, your carbon emission, that you have the right to pollute.
Yes.
Okay, so the point is that what would be the meaning of your investments, how you consider your investment. And this is exactly the thought we had a few years back when we start some discussion about sustainability with our clients. We start to explain to our client and to increase their sensibility to the sustainability positive impact issue on the society and the environment. And the first answer we said, we explained, or we received, sorry, from our client was the following: Mr. the banker, what I'm looking for is a return. If I want to invest in with a positive impact, what I'm gonna do is to call my philanthropy department in order to organize the things. So I prefer to split the discussion between return on my investment in philanthropy. That's not the same topic.
Yes.
On our side, we try to explain, and now it works, and it has been demonstrated also by all central bank, especially the ex-UK governor Mark Carney, who explained perfectly the fact that it's not because you invest in shares, financial product with a positive impact, with environmental concern, that your return will be lower than investing on chemical industry, fossil industry, and so on and so forth. Now it has been perfectly demonstrated, and I tend to believe that, especially during the last year, it is a reverse actually.
Yes.
So it is a reverse, and making the bridge now with the superyacht industry. That's something that you can, let's say, you can make a parallel with the industry. That is to say that it's not because you want to have fun and you want to enjoy the life with this type of asset that you will have automatically a negative impact on the environment and on the perception of the toy. So and I would like to give you 2 or 3 examples here. Is again, it's linked to the need of meaning, the new generation's needs. Just to give you an example, is if you are deeply invested in your projects by building or buying a yacht, obviously you are looking for a space, you are looking for entertainment on board, but you can work on the consumption of your engines. You can work on the noise, for example, because the noise is also very it's a big concern. The noise pollution in the ocean is a big concern.
Yes.
For the underwater worlds. You can work with the shipyard on the paints. You can work on the black waters. So you have a lot of things to do if you are deeply involved in the project. Obviously, it costs a lot of money, but you have some money, and you build also your legacy for the future, for the young generation. That's one point. And how to use the yacht? Well, you can use the yacht and share the yacht for social purposes, for education purposes.
Yeah.
You charter the yacht where you decide to invite some scientists on board, young generation, and you share your meal with the result of the scientist, because you charter the yacht, or you lend the yacht to this scientist for the missions. And believe me, the dinner on board will be slightly different and the discussion you may have will be slightly different. And that's exactly the meaning that the people are also looking for.
Yeah. No, I think that idea of this ability to communicate with new people on board could be quite entertaining for some people. At
Yeah,
the
of
very
course. Yeah.
the ultra high net worths, to have a group of scientists or a group of next generation and to talk about issues in the world today could be quite inspiring for the new generation as well. I think this is something that almost becomes a new way of communicating how positive yachts could be in the future. I think the idea that inspiring owners to invest in uh, optimization and let's say engineering reduction of the impact should be part of our own industry challenge to show the owners what we really could do, rather than just keep showing them existing projects with fossil fuels and conventional configurations. Is there enough innovation being presented, do you think, Olivier?
Not enough. Not enough. That's a very good point. That's also related to some financial issue.
Yes.
Is how the added value is shared between the value chain from the shipyard to the sale broker or to the charter broker. From what we have noticed, and this is something that we discuss also with some of the shipyard, is how much you invest in R&D, in research and development.
Yes.
That's for me, that's a very very important point. One of the challenge for the shipyard is because a shipyard is a platform working with a lot of subcontractors, and each subcontractor is a small company. It's not an international, a big company with a small financial means. When you look at the financial means, you need to develop some new technologies. So if you look at the challenge for with the solar, for example, if you look at the challenge with hydrogen, if you look at the diesel electric, if you look at the new materials to replace steel or aluminium with the carbon, for example, well, it costs a lot of money, and that's for sure that the shipyard and the subcontractors doesn't have enough money.
Yeah.
But don't forget one thing, that the owners, the future owners, have the financial means.
Yeah.
Because they are entrepreneurs, they make millions, if not billions. And if you present the right product to them with the support of the banks,
yes,
they are able to support to support you. And I must say that for example, what the Water Revolution Foundation is doing now in order to find the right project and to look at everywhere in order to identify the right new technologies and to try to support them and to put the new technologies under the spotlight is the right things to do in order to speed up the change the industry needs.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting topic you raised there about the value chain, but also the lack of what I call financial stability across the supply chain itself. Is because I think that to me is one of the concerns I would have, is the number of, over the years, how many suppliers we've seen go bankrupt or disappear because of the financial instability, and also shipyards as well. We've had a lot of shipyards over the years disappear due to what I call, I think there's so many different descriptions we can use, but financial mismanagement and or lack of capital. How can the banking world improve that at all?
Well,
is it a high risk business for a bank to still play with?
Well, it is. It's not a secret for everybody that if you look at the default rate on the shipyard sector, the default rate is huge compared to other industry. Is a non-investment non-investment grade sector. That's for sure. One of the key issue is the fact that when you look at the return, the net profit of shipyards, when they build a yacht, the net profit is very, very small, asset per asset. And from time to time, maybe the net profit is lower than the net profit than a broker will make.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's a question also of power of negotiation between the various various actors.
Yes.
And again, it's quite interesting to make a parallel with the aircraft, the business jet industry, where the way the added value is split between the different actors is completely different. So that for sure, that there's a lot of the question of maturity of the sector, that for sure. There's a question of investments. There is a lack of investment, but I don't know if it's a lack of investment at the shipyard level or at the subcontractors level. It's an open question. But again, there's a lot of work to do in that area. That's for sure.
So what could we learn from aviation? What are the fundamentals that aviation does that we should or could adopt?
Well, there's something quite interesting. But the DNA is completely different. DNA is completely different, which is also quite. But the DNA is completely different. But I think the business jet industry has a lot of things to learn from the yachting industry, and the reverse is true. The business jet industry, the DNA is a military industry. Why? Because all the technology is coming from the military sector. Okay, the way to work, the way to be organized, coming from the military sector. It's heavily regulated. Okay, if you consider the yachting industry, the yachting industry coming from the entertainment. Okay, yeah. So you can easily understand that for sure it's a completely different way to work. But I tend to believe that maybe the yacht industry needs additional skills in terms of organization, regulation. Meanwhile, the jet industry needs maybe a bit more fun in their industry. So if you see what I mean. That's one thing. The second thing is that basically, if you look at the number of manufacturers on the business jet industry, there are less of 10 producers.
Yes.
Okay. Even though we have seen in the shipyard industry worldwide that the number of shipyards decreased during the last 6-7 years by 1/3, there are still too much people building a yacht. Why? The point is, it is one of the challenge for Seabass as well, is to build a unity front. Okay. To find some common background to work in the same direction. And for me, it's very important to be much more organized than the other. This industry is not so well organized. There are a big progress, I must say. There are big progress if you compare what the industry was 10 years back. But it's not enough. If the industry is much more organized and work in the same direction, they will also naturally increase their margin profits.
Yeah.
Also, and what does it mean? That if you increase the margin profit, the investors are happy, and also you have also additional money for your research and development as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And that's for sure. So for the time being, and from a banking perspective, the bank are very cautious to give a blank check, if I may say so, to the shipyards, because the default rate is really high so far, and they are not all well organized. Having said that, there is a room, and the room is very simple. And recently, we make a declaration where basically the bank and some other bank explain that we are ready to support all the industries who are ready to change their business model into a more sustainable one.
Yeah.
That is to say that these days there are some money, credit lines for people, shipyards who want to work in that direction. So that's also a message that we share and we deliver with shipyards 2 years back, and this is something that we explain day after day to our clients as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Little question I always throw at people on these one-to-ones is, what frustrates you about our industry?
That's for me, it's linked to what I said earlier. What I would like to see is a real vision. And for me, it's not really clear, again, from a banking perspective, where the superyacht industry want to go. So that is to say that this industry should build a common vision of the future, where the superyacht industry want to be in 10 years or 20 years time. That's one thing.
Yep.
So that's one level of a common ground. Obviously, there are different ways to achieve this vision, but I think this industry should build up a common vision for the next 10 or 20 years. That's one thing. The second point is what the values you want to share with the maritime service provider along the chain of value, but what the values you want to communicate to your clients or future clients.
Yeah,
I think that it's not clear.
So what do we stand for, basically?
Exactly. So it's common to say, okay, fun and privacy, personalized, and so on, but that's not enough. That's not enough. That's the second point. And the third, which is the way to operationalize these values and your vision, is to define your ambition, what you want to do, what will be the next, what you want to do during the next 2 or 3 years. And for me, that's very important. I'm sure that the Water Foundation and CBAS can contribute to do so, but the key challenge is the clock is ticking.
Yeah.
So the time is over for talking.
Yeah.
It's a time for action. And if the industry itself doesn't take the leads, the authorities, the maritime authorities, will take the leads. That is to say, it means that they will increase the regulation, they will increase the taxes in order to push the industry in the right direction. And from our perspective, we consider that the industry itself need to take their future in hands instead of leaving their future to the regulated bodies, that's, or at least to work hand in hand with the regulated bodies. That's my main frustration these days, because for me, we seen a lot of talks, but not enough action.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
What I can tell you on our side, because we made different statements on this field, and just to give you one of our mission now these days, and that's our mission when we finance jet and yacht, is in twofold. Is one, as intermediary, is to make the bridge between our clients, our owners, existing owner or future owners, with people who works directly on the positive impact on the oceans for the yacht and for the jet, for the climate, on the climate change. But not only on for communication or education, but for definitively for action. What does it mean? That means that we are ready to lend more, to lend cheaper, and to give some additional flexibility to our clients, when our clients are definitively involved in these matters. So that's what we are doing these days. And our best success is not only to finance a yacht or finance a jet. Our best success is to put in relationship people who have the money and people who make the change these days. That's these days our main mission, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. So your forecast for the future, good, positive, concerned? What do you think? Based on things like the global debt position we're finding ourselves in now, wealth inequality, are we okay? Or what do you think is going to happen in the next few years?
Well, for the next 2 or 3 years, concern, because we expect to see maybe a raise of the inflation, for very simple reason, because we consider that in 6 months, 9 months time maximum, people will come back to consume a lot, and to the growth will come back. But at the same time, due to the fact that the whole industry suffer, we will see a sharp increase of the price. That is to say that we will see an inflation. So definitely it will have an impact, financially speaking, for everybody. Concerning the CP yacht industry as such, I think if you look at the order book these days, also the order book is okay, but will not come back to the golden years as we have seen in 2008 or 2009. And again, the survivor will be the one who understood the client needs, and who already makes the move on for a more environmental friendly world, and start to change the way they build, to change the way to charter a yacht. I think that's that for me, that will be the winner in the next coming years.
Yeah, brilliant. Olivier, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much, as usual, and I look forward to seeing you again soon in Geneva.
Yeah, I will be pleased. Please come and see us as soon as you can.
Yeah, all right. Listen, thanks a million again, and take care, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Olivier.